Calling the board meeting to order for Tuesday, April 18, 2023. Roll call, Ms. Cindy.
Ms. Richards?
Present.
Mr. Toller?
Here.
Ms. Abrams?
Here.
Mr. Westmoreland?
Present.
Mr. Duncan?
Here.
Mr. Anthony?
Here.
Mr. Moore?
Here.
Mr. Piazza?
Here.
Ms. Dominguez?
Present. At this time, we will ask Ferdinand Bazoo to come up from Hammond High School. He will lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. At this time, we'd like to go to item D, consider approval of board minutes of April 4th, 2023.
Move to adopt. Second.
It's been moved and second. Any questions? Comments? Call to vote, Ms. Cindy.
Voting is open. Voting is closed. Motion passes unanimously.
Awards and recognitions. Item A, recognize remaining students of the year. Ms. Sharon Spring.
Good evening. Last month we had the opportunity to recognize all of our students of the year, and we gave our students who are involved in other activities to come tonight. And we have one student of the year from Sumner Middle, Miss Montana Kirkland. While we have Montana up here, we're also going to call up Mr. Chris Vassell and any other faculty or staff we have from Sumner Middle School. Last month, we also recognized our schools who raised their school performance score. Sumner Middle was not able to be here. And so tonight, we're going to recognize them for raising their school performance score up 4.9 points. And they were also a Louisiana comeback school last year. So we want to recognize Sumner Middle and their staff.
Sorry, I think the next item on our agenda is we have Ms. Carly Cooper, who is going to recognize some students for some new credentialing.
Okay. Give me a sec.
wanted to take this opportunity to recognize some students that have done some excellent work. Thank you. Champ Cooper Elementary, they had 2 students that earned Microsoft credentials. Greenville Park Leadership Academy, they were really proud of their scores. The test is 1,000 points. And so this middle school student in PowerPoint scored a 935, so that's very good. And the other one scored a 850. And so we wondered when we started this process, can middle school students handle this? Is the materials that we're giving them enough? Can they do it? So there's your proof that it can be done. So Independence Middle Magnet, Cynthia Walker, and Independence Middle Magnet is now part of Independence High School, so her students still have access to that. So that was just at mid-year how many they had certified. And Jules Sumner Middle, they were actually the first, and I'm gonna have to say that that's a little bit of home cooking because that's where I'm from. And so it was real easy for me to stop by Sumner in the mornings when they had questions and answer. And so any middle school that you don't see listed here today, those will be my first stops next year. I'm gonna go give them some home cooking and make sure they get all the support that they need. Ponchatoula Junior High, Miss Lee did an excellent job there. Southeastern Lab, I made several visits there. And this is a high school student, but I wanted to recognize in my career, I taught Microsoft credentials for about 24 years in the high school and at the technical college. In that whole 24 years, there were less than 10 students that scored a perfect 1,000. So when you see a school shout out a child that scores a perfect 1,000, they outscored the teacher, you know. And I've always said anything I can do, they can do better. He proved it. So, and in case you're wondering, in the middle schools only at mid-year, we had 15 student certifications in Word. We had 52 student certifications in PowerPoint. I worked with the Louisiana Workforce Commission, and now if a student gets all 6 of these credentials, it is a statewide basic credential now. I still have a little bit more work to do in that we have to get it added to the pathways, but that is now a statewide credential, and that is hard. So, and why do we want to do this? It's the most widely used business productivity suite worldwide. It helps us organize, manage, and present information. It builds worker confidence, productivity. It makes their deliverables more readable to outside people. It's used in administrative positions regardless of the industry, and it increases their earning potential for employees and for employers because they have to pay people to train their people, and we're doing that in high school and in middle school for them. If you go to this website, you'll see a list of all of the industry credentials that we currently offer in our schools. Some of them are blanketed across all, and then some that are just regional or emerging, we don't blanket a class with those. We give them to you if you need them to graduate. So those are some of the credentials that we offer, almost all of them because we have a new one. And that is at Amite High School. They added the FAA Part 107 small unmanned aircraft credential. So these guys are drone certified now. So, and real estate industries use this a lot. And then we also are hearing that in their construction sites, Turner Industries uses drones to fly over their construction sites and see what's going on as well. And if you have any questions about credentials, again, it's at Louisiana Believes, All Things Jumpstart. And the 2 places I live most of the time are at the Jumpstart graduation pathways and the industry credential fact sheets. But there's a lot of other curriculum up there as well if you're interested and want to know more. Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is Ms. Liuza to recognize our 2022-2023 Senior Superlatives Club, those seniors who have earned a composite score of 27 or higher on the ACT exam. Ms. Liuza.
Good evening. Tonight we will recognize seniors across our parish who have earned exemplary marks on the ACT test. The ACT is a well-known, nationally recognized entrance exam used by most colleges and universities as one metric for college admission. The purpose of the ACT is to measure a high school student's readiness for college. It's important to note that the max score on the ACT is 36, and the average national average score is 21 currently. The seniors we will recognize tonight have ACT scores that range from 27 to 36. Hence, we call them our senior superlatives. Without further ado, we will now recognize our seniors by school. When your school name is called, please stand, come forward to be recognized, and receive your award. From Hammond High Magnet School, Ian Alvis, Ferdinand Bazoo, Betty Glover, Austin Griffith, Alexandria Kennedy, Emily May, Kimberly McKenzie, Nathaniel Methvin, Graham Mizell, Charlie Wynn, Braden Pulls, Emma Stilley. From Independence High Magnet School, from Independence High Magnet School, Malachi Lampkin, Eugenio Ortiz, from Laranja High School, Hawk Finch, and Jordan Young. From Ponchatoula High School, Austin Aiken, Luke Arsenault, Christian Bankovich, Caroline Bankston, Asia Collins, Shelby Core, John Cranford, Arden Dubray, Elijah Gregory, Jalen Hartford, Josh Ho, Paris Jernigan, Jade Lama, Claire Lusk, Alexis Mathern, Connor Montalbano, Micah Moscow, Gabriel Olwell, Ali Marie Pena, Ava Paraloo, Peyton Reed, Colin Smith, Brett Stilley, Brandon Strohmeyer, Elizabeth Thompson, Carolyn Yenny.
You never get it. That's right.
Oh, yeah, the little guy's in the back.
Get the picture now.
They usually say,
Chastity.
We already did all of the school performance growth ones, so we just need to do the constitutional looking.
I think we got one more.
oh, I want
County or
And from Sumner High School, Kylie Birch.
And while Ms. Birch goes to her seat, we would ask that all of our family members that are here in support of these superlative students, that you also please rise to be recognized, as we recognize that this is a group effort amongst all of our families and teachers and everyone involved. So if you would please stand if you're here with one of these great students. Congratulations to all of you. We are going to, in just a minute, we will take a 5-minute break for anyone that wants to go outside and take pictures rather than stay with us for the rest of this enthralling meeting. But we do have one more recognition that we would ask you to all stay with us for. Ms. Lauza, we're going to recognize our Ponchatoula High School for 100 years of accreditation, I believe.
Tonight, we recognize Ponchatoula High School for 100 years of Cognia accreditation. You might be thinking, what is accreditation and why is it so important? Accreditation ensures a certain level of academic quality. It's like your quality control for educational institutions. Being accredited means that a school has gone through a rigorous check by an outside authority on education to ensure the school maintains a certain level of educational standards. Cognia, formerly known as Advanced Ed, or maybe SACS to some of you, maybe you've heard of SACS accreditation. It's the accrediting agency that reviews our high schools. A diploma or a degree from an accredited school is valuable, as most accredited colleges and universities will not accept diplomas from students who attend unaccredited high schools. It's also important in terms of financial aid. Students who attend unaccredited high schools often have difficulty receiving financial aid as their diplomas are virtually considered worthless. I am proud to report that all 7 high schools in Tangipahoa Parish are currently accredited. Ponchatoula High School went through this rigorous accreditation review recently and was granted another 5 years of school accreditation. Tonight we will recognize Ponchatoula High School on receiving a significant milestone of joining a very select group of schools that have continuously retained accreditation for 100 years. Dr. Anna Faye Caminita is the current principal at Ponchatoula High School. We want to thank you and your faculty, Dr. Caminita, for all of your hard work through the years to achieve this milestone. And thank you to the staff who's been there for, some of the staff members have been there well over 20 years and have gone through accreditation multiple times. So congratulations and thank you. Tonight we have with us Ms. Christina McCreary, Director, Southeast Region for Cognia. I'd like to ask Ms. McCreary to join me and say a few words as we recognize Ponchatoula High School.
Thank you, Ms. Liza, and thank you all of you for allowing me to come. This has been such a phenomenal celebration. I am absolutely blessed and honored to be able to celebrate all of the accomplishments of your students today, and also recognize and appreciate the partnership that we have with all of the high schools here in Tangipahoa Parish. And as Ms. Liza discussed, accreditation is of vital importance, especially to seniors who are planning to attend college. But what is significant about Cognia accreditation is that, first of all, we have been accrediting schools in the United States since 1895. So there's just a legacy of excellence involved in Cognia accreditation. But even more than that, we are, without a doubt, the premier accreditation organization in the world. We currently accredit more than 36,000 schools and systems across 90 different countries. And schools that are accredited through Cognia, as Dr. Caminita and her team have seen this year as they've gone through their accreditation review, and as they know because they've been sustained accreditation with us for 100 years. But Cognia's processes focus and look at the culture of the school to make sure that it is conducive and supporting learning by students. the leadership of the school, because we know that a school must have strong, appropriate leadership in order to thrive. We also look at the engagement of not only students but also their staff, because that is of utmost importance to make sure that students are actually learning. And of course, we look at growth, because we believe that all schools and all students can be and should be better tomorrow than we are today. We believe in that continuous improvement. And Ponchatoula High School, as they have shown by electing and maintaining those standards for more than 100 years, show a strong commitment to continuous improvement and a legacy of excellence. And that legacy of excellence was underscored by the number of students that we celebrated from Ponchatoula High School today. And I'm very excited to have seen that. I also want to mention that Ponchatoula High School does join a very select group of schools in Louisiana, as they are now the 10th school that has sustained accreditation for 100 years or more in the entire state. Dr. Caminita, if you will come forth and receive your plaque.
I'm gonna stand behind y'all and make faces.
All right.
One night I'm out with the dream.
So with that, I think we will now take that 5-minute recess, and thank you all for being here.
Channel 17, proudly serving the Florida parishes.
Okay, meeting back to order. Item 3A, Finance and Audit Committee, April 4th, 2023.
Move to adopt the committee's report.
Second.
It's moved in second.
We have
Yeah.
input.
Any input?
Good afternoon, Madam President, Superintendent Stilley, Board, audience. At the Finance and Audit Committee last meeting, our insurance individual, Mr. Austin Powell, was given information that we'd be able to put all of the insurances together for one renewal of the flood policy. He was informed earlier today that they will not accept the Hammond High gym as part of the flood with the April renewal. We're asking that you pull it out and it be its own separate renewal in the coming up in October. So it will take the 2023 premiums from $22,749 to $19,537.
Okay.
We'll move as amended.
There you go.
Okay, moved in second.
Second.
Okay. Questions? Comments?
So we'll just renew this come October, or
We will
Correct.
renew this group again in April,
No,
and
Tom.
Hammond High Gym will always be in October.
But
Yes,
the
sir.
time made this.
Tom, and then Brett.
And
Except
you-
for something with the National Flood Insurance Program, we could not
Just-
put them together.
Just, Ms. Cindy, just withdraw my motion. My motion's withdrawn.
Okay, so motion to approve as amended,
correct.
second.
Brett.
Trent.
Trent. Both of them, yeah.
She's got it in there as Trent. Let's leave it that way.
Flip a coin.
Fine. Thank you.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you.
Sure.
Item B,
Call the question.
huh?
Call.
Call the question?
Voting is open.
Yes, Ms. Cindy.
Voting is closed. Motion passes unanimously.
Okay. Item B, Policy Committee of the Whole, April 4th, 2023.
Move to adopt the committee's report.
Second.
Moved. Second. Questions?
Call the
Comments?
question. Call the question.
Okay.
Voting is open.
Yes, Ms. Cindy.
Voting is closed. Motion passes unanimously.
Personal privileges, board member?
Oh, I get to go first
You
this
get to go
time?
first.
Oh, Rose, you in it. I'm getting it now, okay? First thing I want to say, we had a disciplinary committee meeting today. I want to thank everybody who was part of that. It was very constructive to have members of the general public, parents, students, teachers, administrators. It was wonderful to have their input and their insight. I think it was very constructive, even though we disagreed on some things. We came together and was all here for the kids and the common good. I want to congratulate our students who scored over 27 on the ACT. That is a huge accomplishment of somebody who's really jealous because he only scored a 22, and I find myself very educated. That is a very big accomplishment. So congratulations to them. And for Ponchatoula for getting their accreditation for 100 years. That right there just signifies how much of a staple it is in their community, and I couldn't be more prouder of my alma mater. So thank y'all for what y'all do at Ponchatoula High School. It shows that it is definitely worth it. So thank you.
Congratulations to all the students tonight. You're in the home stretch now, guys. It's your senior year. Finish strong, and we wish you the best of luck in your college careers or whatever path you decide to take. I would like to congratulate the Strawberry Festival. They had something this year that if you didn't get to see it, was absolutely amazing. It was called the Tower of Tunnels. It was a rolling tribute to 9/11, and it was the most moving event I think I've been through. When walking through that trailer just sent chills down your spine. You know, kids that are in the 12th grade right now, they have no idea. They weren't even thought of by their parents when that happened. And I just think that we should be teaching what happened on 9/11 in all of our classrooms because it was just so moving. We focus on so many things that are just so minute compared to what people went through in 9/11. And it was just, if you didn't have a chance to see it, Google it, look what it's about. I was told by some of the Strawberry Board members that it was the most donations they've ever collected at a free festival was there at the Strawberry Festival. So it says a lot about the people that went through it, and really appreciated that they came to our little small Tpss parish. But if you need to go and Google it and see what it's all about. And congratulations on a successful Strawberry Festival because they had a great event.
I also want to congratulate all of our students who performed so well in the ACT that were here this evening. Just again, it's a way for us to tell our story. We need to share those pictures of those students. We accomplish a lot in this parish, and I'm just so proud of what we can do here. And I also just want to remind everybody, with LEAP testing coming up, this is a measure of what we've been able to do. So I'm going to be praying for these students. Let's encourage these students, make sure they're getting proper rest and nutrition, and I just wish the best for them, and I hope that we come out and just really impress the community.
Yeah, real quick, once again, the ACT recipients, that was a great accomplishment. Also, Montana Kirkland from Sumner Middle. Congratulations to her. Montana's a sweet young girl. She missed the first go around because that was her last softball game for the year, so I didn't want to see her miss that. So I appreciate the board allowing her to come back and do it. Also, Sumner Middle for being comeback school and performing so well. I appreciate the fact that you recognize them as well. And then last but not least, also with LEAP, let's make sure, I've been getting a lot of phone calls from different teachers that were concerned about the bonus and what if this happens, and I'm sure y'all probably have gotten some of those as well. And I keep trying to tell them that it's not a punishment if you don't get it. It's a reward if you have perfect attendance. Just like a student that goes through the entire school year with perfect attendance and has to miss for a very good reason, they don't get the certificate at the end of the school year. It stinks, sometimes it's not fair, but this is the intention of this bonus is to reward those teachers who are able to finish out the year strong. Some will make it, some will not, but it is not a punishment by no means. We know things happen. It will happen across the school system, but this is intended to be a reward for those who can pull out the perfect attendance. So thank you for their work.
Yes, of course, I'm going to congratulate Punch Hill High School on their 100-year accreditation. We have a wonderful school, wonderful staff, and we really do appreciate them because getting accredited in a single year is really a great task. So we're grateful for them. I want a special thank about the Strawberry Festival. Strawberry Festival is a wonderful event, but it's not just for fun, it's for scholarships. It's for all our students, and all of the kids in Tangipahoa Parish can apply to these scholarships, a lot of them at Punch Hill High School only, but the people that go out there and work all weekend, they're working for our kids, and we can't thank them enough. We cannot thank them enough for working 3 days out there to sell burgers or fries or whatever they're doing to support our schools, and I just want to thank them for that, and it's just been quite an honor. Our senior superlatives, I couldn't help but notice, Ms. Dilly, how many teachers and administrators, students, their children were winners tonight. I noticed a lot of them are our employees. That's their children that have won tonight, and that shows a good example of what our teachers are helping their children to learn. So I wish that we would have had a minute to let them, if they were employed in our schools and had a child up here, to stand, but I was very impressed with that. So thank you for doing that, and thank you to all the parents for working so hard to help their children learn through our system.
Good.
Okay, first of all, I would like to acknowledge all of the children who received the awards tonight and the teachers who helped them to get there. I have a very special request to make tonight for every teacher, every principal in our school system. There is a document that is posted on the school website, and the parent, you can read this too. Everyone in the parish, this document has been made available to everyone. And it is pretty much a blueprint for progress. It's called Critical Consciousness, Equity, and Inclusion. All right, so this is a document that I believe should be the moral compass for especially every employee. It should become the moral compass for every teacher, every principal. And it would do every parent a great deal of good to know what's in this document. It's posted on the website. So let me encourage you to go in and read this. It's called the Critical Consciousness, Equity, and Inclusion Blueprint for Progress.
Move that we enter executive session to consider the cases of Cassie Felder versus Tangipahoa Parish School Board, Deanna Foster matter, and the Michelle Brister matter.
Channel 17, proudly serving the Florida parishes.
Okay, calling the meeting back to order.
Madam President, on the matter of Cassie Felder versus Tangipahoa Parish School Board, ask the Board Secretary to note no action. On the matter of Deanna Foster, move to adopt Council's recommendation.
Second.
Without objection. On the matter of Michelle Brister, move to adopt Council's recommendation.
A second.
Without it.
Without objection. Waiting on Ms. Sidney. Ready? Okay, we're ready. At this time, we will have our public input request forms, and we will have Ms. Danielle Johnson. Before Ms. Danielle starts, let me just say that to the audience to make you know that since we as a board, we are not allowed to make any comments, so we don't want you to feel that we're being insensitive and not answering you, but we are not allowed to make the comments at this time, okay?
Good evening. On April 5th, I wrote an email to each of you board members, and this is what the email stated. As some of you may know, on Monday, April 3rd, there was an incident at Midway Elementary School. The school contacted parents, making us aware of a situation where there was a weapon at school at 12:31 p.m. after lockdown was completed. At 12:49, we received a second email with a simple statement stating the weapon did not contain any bullets. Since then, other parents and myself have had to take multiple contacts about what to do from here because some of our children didn't want to go back to school. I even went as far as contacting my son's teacher with no response. On April 4th, I spoke to Mr. Jinko, who assured me that a police presence would be at the school along with counseling the next day. The assistant principal at Midway Elementary also said that she would excuse his absence and put my child down for counseling. To my knowledge, there were no officers at the school the next day, nor any personal counseling sessions at that time. A group session was possibly held. Firstly, we as parents are concerned with how communications were handled after the event. The children that were in the classroom with the weapon are letting parents know they knew it was a gun. They knew what was going on. What's the policy for incidents like this? Mr. Duncan brought it to my attention that we have policies in place. Were they implemented correctly? Who is implementing these policies to make sure that they are implemented correctly? Who's following through? The following day, on April 5th, my son finally returned to school. At 10 a.m., my grandmother and I requested just to see him, to check on his well-being, to see how he was feeling. I was denied access to my child. I called the secretary because my grandmother was there, not myself. And we were told that it's not a big deal. It was just a snake. The kids just think it was a snake. It's not a big deal. Here nor there, I don't know of a policy restricting me from my child. So is there a policy in place stating that parents cannot call their children to the office for a conversation? I had to check him out. I, as a parent, would like to see where it states we cannot see our children at any time should we choose to do so. The legality of this situation is also into question. No parent or family member, even those that are on the office card, should be denied access to their child. In my opinion, I do not feel it was outlandish request to ask for my child directly, how's your day going? How you feel? Especially after being reassured by the administration that day prior that if he asked to be sent home, he would be. I've lost trust in that administration, and I would like them to follow through with my request. So with an understanding that the children need routine and normalcy after such an event, I reached out to achieve this. I reached out to you board members. I received an email later that evening stating that you'll look into my concerns. I've not received anything since. Again, this was April 5th. I've asked these questions with no response. So who is making sure the policy is implemented correctly? Thank you.
Ms. Reaver Bernard.
Can I request that someone else go before me? Morgan Fish.
Okay, that's fine.
Hello, good evening. I am truly disappointed in the Tangipahoa Parish School Board. I am Morgan Fish, a 4th grade math and science teacher at DC Reeves Elementary School. I have been without a partner teacher for 31 teaching and learning days. The effects of this abrupt decision has impacted me immensely. I am now having to help all of my students in both classes and students not in our classes cope with this decision to take away one of their best teachers. This teacher and I have spent countless hours in and outside of the school building building effective relationships with students who have struggled in and outside of school. Since you have made this decision, almost every student has been struggling in some aspect. They are struggling emotionally and academically. As I am trying to help these students navigate through this rough and unexpected time, it has caused a strain on me. This is extremely unfair to everyone, and it is confusing to me, especially as an educator, that we say that we have the best interest of the students in mind. I'm confused because if the best interest of the students are in mind, we take away one of their best teachers. This is also supported by data. 41 out of 46 students last year of this said teacher scored basic or above on the LEAP standardized test. It's just, as I said before, confusing to me, and it's hard for me recently, especially with LEAP coming up, as y'all said earlier, so quickly. We have plenty support with data and human beings to get this teacher back. It is now up to you. So I leave you with this question. Are you really doing what is best for our students, keeping her away? Thank you, and have a great evening.
Good evening, everybody. As Ms. Fish stated, my daughter is in her class as well as her partner teacher's class. And I'm here on her behalf to express to all of you that she has been greatly negatively affected by her teacher being removed from the classroom. It's hard for me to see my child struggle this much, especially with a teacher who has LEAP results that 41 out of 46 of her students have scored basic or higher. I don't want anybody else teaching my child. I want her to be the person teaching my kid. I want her to be the one helping my kid get a basic or higher. In her previous role in a different parish, 73 of her students scored a mastery. So I ask you, I mean, it should be a given. That's a rhetorical question. Who would you want to prepare your child for the LEAP test? I believe it's unfair what's happening to her, and I have recordings from some of the students to explain to you how this has negatively affected them.
She makes us comfortable. I miss Miss Callahan a lot. She holds us accountable, she fully understands us, and she makes us comfortable.
Turn that off.
Miss Callahan is a wonderful teacher.
Now turn your video
She
off.
encourages us to work harder.
So what we can't do is allow you to specifically name the teacher that is in question. She is not, so the student, you could barely hear, she was actually saying that person's name. So we're not allowed to do that, particularly because you're disclosing a personal information. So that's.
Well, we have several videos
understand.
with several students expressing how they have been negatively affected by the abrupt removal of their teacher from their classroom. And I would really appreciate it if you reconsider your decision and allow her to come back into the classroom, because I know that my daughter needs her. Not only has she affected my child in the classroom, but she has also affected my child outside of the classroom. She participates in her academic environment, but also her environment at home. And I want her back. Thank you.
So, obviously, I can't respond to her directly, but for just a point of information to the board president, and I guess for the benefit of the public, the school board itself does not make and does not have the legal authority to do any hiring or firing or to take any sort of personnel action for any employee of this school system with the exception of the superintendent. We don't have any authority to do that. The hiring of employees other than the superintendent does not come before the board at all. That's all done administratively. The only role that we get to play when it comes to personnel actions is if an employee wants to allege that a policy of this board was not properly implemented, they can use the grievance procedure to allege that the administration has violated a specific policy or failed to abide by law or something along those lines, and bring that all the way up to the board. But when it comes to specific employees of the school system, we're actually prohibited by law from interfering with the administration's actions unless there's some sort of specific policy grievance that's properly brought before us. So I don't know, not everybody knows that or understands it, so I just wanted to make that point of information. So like this specific instance, we have no idea what you're even talking about because that's never been to us. Okay, it doesn't come before us. Okay. And we can't allow you to say her name or give us any more information in a public forum anyway either.
Well,
Okay.
I guess I'm just confused because one, you started off saying you don't say anything. So
I'm just
confused
giving
by
a
that.
general point of information
I've
about
actually
how the
spoken to
policy and procedures work and what our real authority is when it comes to those types
And I
of
completely understand that. I have spoken to a board member who informed me of the policy. However, I'm here to talk to the one person who does have that power.
And I appreciate it.
Thank you.
But
You have a
I
good
just
evening.
wanted for the public's information to understand what authority we have and what we don't have.
I understand that.
Okay. Mr. Carlton Gallman.
Let me say good evening. Those of us who are here. To the two new board members, Mr. Joey Piazza and Mr. Trent Anthony. I say congratulations on your victory and well wishes to you as you serve to make a difference. In case you didn't realize it, everybody does not see what this superintendent and board wants them to see. For some of us, we see the truth. And the truth of the matter is that this system is laden with racism. This I know not because someone told me, but because I have been a victim of this egregious truth. Several months ago, I shared with many board members here the truth as it relates to their decision to be part and parcel to the practice of racial discrimination on a massive scale. I also shared my concerns for moving forward with this thing we call equity. It was the biggest act of racial discrimination in the modern history of Tpss Parish school system. Yet, most of you board members chose to act as though the elephant would quietly leave the room. No ma'am, no sir. All so-called black folk unhappy with offers of demotion especially when racism is the main culprit. Never confuse someone going along to get along with them being happy. Some of us scared, we want to save, what we got, our mortgage and stuff to do. Now, at the same time, wrong was being exacted by this administration, this board, with the exception of 2, gave the superintendent an evaluation score over 3.5, if my memory serves me correctly. The respect of all humans trumps everything y'all trying to do. Questions I asked have not been answered. Grievance policy all jacked up. Hiring practice all jacked up. Concerns I've mentioned have not been addressed. Nobody responded. 5 months. I waited patiently. So I'll ask this question, or these questions to the board before I take my seat. Kind of already know the answers. But what have you done to right the wrong of discrimination exacted on the transportation department? What will you do, board members, in a meaningful way to deal with the age-old spirit in this system, which practices racism, nepotism, cronyism, and favoritism? And when I say meaningful way, I mean a real meaningful way. Not just throw some money at folk to make them hush up. Madam President, school board members, Madam Superintendent, I won't be before you long. I think a lot have already been said. But I want to pause long enough just to acknowledge those that are gathered here in the room in support of educators, assistant principals, and transportation employees. They are your taxpayers. They shop here. They work here. And they have, for some, have retired here. And they continue to support a system that don't always support them. So we're here to say with one voice, resounding, fix the system. You've heard from a system employee that says that your complaint process, I have witnessed that the complaint process needs to be fixed. You complain, I have to go back to what school board member Brett Duncan says. He said that the school board only hears grievances. Well, I've known of some grievances that have came before the board, and the board has not responded in a meaningful way. So what does that say to your employee who's a valued member of the system? We have to start addressing grievances in a timely and a meaningful way. No matter if they're frivolous or no matter if they're highly. As I move on, as I travel through the parish, and I see my time winding down, as I travel through the parish, I want to say, and I continue to try to serve as a diplomat. My job is not easy. Let me say this, being the NAACP president comes with its own challenges, I can tell you, and I can assure you. But it's one that I am proud to serve in. I am proud to serve as the NAACP president. Trying to forge two worlds, 20,000 plus students, 2,700 plus teachers, to try to get the board to understand the feelings and opinions of others that have been marginalized. We have to understand, and we have to take a more understanding role. 58 years of a desegregation case have undoubtedly, it has undoubtedly given us cause for suspicion. It has given us cause, no matter how it's, well, I won't say that. I just won't say that. But it has given people cause for suspicion. When you go in and you take out an entire transportation department, what does that say? You said 6 people with 20,000 students. Now you have 19 in transportation. I don't understand. So I close with this. We have to understand that people are hurting. People are hurting. And I say it again, people are hurting. I hear it every day. People are hurting. As I go to my seat, and can we take a deep dive into the complaint process? Can we do that? Can I get board members to say that we'll look at the grievance process? We'll look at the complaint process. Can I get you all to say that? There's nothing wrong with saying we'll look at it. If you have a complaint, Mr. Trent Anthony, and people watch you and they heard what you said last board meeting, and I want to tell you, 6 people called me and said, hey, we kind of agree with what Trent said, but let me go. But if you have a complaint, and you have a complaint with a company, wouldn't you want your complaint to be addressed quickly and as efficiently as possible? That's all we ask. That's all that we're asking. That's all that we're asking. God bless you all.
Thank you for your public input. Is there any more board business? At this time, we will call our meeting adjourned.